What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. I'm your host, James Lauriello, and we're going to dive right into today's episode with none other than my friend, Nicholas Coleman. You guys might not be aware of this, but Nick is actually one of the original starters and persons that pushed me to start the Steep Stuff Podcast. I was on Nick's podcast back in 2023, and he really encouraged me and pushed me along and gave me a lot of pointers with starting this podcast. He is the pod father. Nick is also a trail runner, an ultra runner. He's deeply involved in the community. He's a cross-country high school coach. And like I said, he's a dear friend and someone that's going through a very difficult personal battle with cancer right now. His story is one of inspiration as he continues to fight every day. He's a good dude. He's a really, really good dude and a great part of the trail running community. I know this episode is a little bit less sub-ultra focused, but Nick's story needed to be told. This is a great one of, spending some time with him and just a catch-up conversation. If you guys are able to tune in on this, and you can tune in on my stage with the Steep Stuff Podcast, and you can also tune into this on the Miles and Mountains podcast, which is going to be aired on his end. So hope you guys enjoy this one. Without further ado, none other than my friend Nicholas Coleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
People, Earth, listen up. The Steep Stuff Podcast is brought to you by Ultimate Direction USA. I am so excited to be partnering with Ultimate Direction in 2025 as the official hydration solutions partner for the Steep Stuff Podcast. Lots of fun things coming down the pike for this year. Ultimate Direction is going to be unveiling a brand new race and ultra vest that's going to be dropping in the next couple of months. So excited to bring that to you guys. If you are in the market right now for apparel, for a belt, for a new pack, anything hydration solutions related, flasks, you name it, they've got it. They've got you covered. If you hop on to ultimatedirection.com and use code STEEPSTUFFPOD, that's one word, STEEP, STEEP, STUFF, STUFF, POD. If you hop on to ultimatedirection.com and use that code, that's going to get you 25% off your cart. Especially that we're starting to wind our way a little bit more closer to spring. You guys are going to be start to put together your race calendars, and Ultimate Direction's going to have you guys covered. So whatever you need, they've got you outfitted from head almost to toe. They don't do shoes yet. So guys, enjoy yourself. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much, and check out Ultimate Direction. Nicholas Coleman, welcome to the Steep Stuff Podcast, my friend. How are you?
Hey, James. It's good, man. I'm doing all right. I'm glad to be here. It's weird, man. It's weird. Yeah, it's like you're on my podcast, but then I'm on yours, and
dude,
it's a conversation.
It's a weird conversation, dude. So we'll back this up a few years. This is back March of 20. Maybe it was either March or January of 2023. I came on your podcast to do an episode when I first signed with Ultimate Direction. It was like back then, and dude, I was this young green person that knew nothing about the sport, knew nothing about anything. I still don't know much about anything, but yeah, man, it was crazy going all the way back in time. I was kind of reflecting on it today before our conversation. Big shout out to the Miles and Mountains podcast, which will obviously, this will be shared on as well. But yeah, man, it's good to finally have a chat with you. You were the inspiration for this podcast. You were the one who pushed me in the direction to do it when I originally thought about it and had kind of brought it up to you, years back, and you were like, yeah, you should definitely do it. And you told me I'd be a natural and all these things. So, dude, I appreciate it, man. It's good to finally have a conversation.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you moved forward and took my advice and didn't think I was joshing you, and dude, and congrats on your success and the people that you've been on, and you've already sponsored, dude. Come on, man, you made it. You know what I mean?
We haven't made it yet. We got a long ways to go, but it's getting there. I appreciate it.
You made it. Then you got married, and then you were on the podcast again, correct? We had a couple meetings.
We did. Yeah.
You got married, dude. And you're still young, man. What are you talking about?
I just turned 34 3 days ago. I'm getting old, man. It's
you're younger than I am. So
I was laughing about this the other day. Like I it's so much harder to recover in your 30s. Like, I don't know. I actually recovery was really easy until like 2 weeks ago. And then I'm like, man, I'm really sore. Like, this is really hard. So I don't know if it's me getting old or me just training a little harder than I probably should. So I don't know.
It happens. I'll say that.
What's going on in the great Pacific Northwest these days, man?
Just cold.
Yeah.
Freezing cold, man. Freezing cold. And yeah, just, I don't know. I'm running stair climber, that kind of thing. Trying to stay warm. Yeah. Trying to stay warm and out of the sickness, having cancer. Is that okay? I just say that.
Talk about it. Say it.
Having cancer all year last year and not know it until the tail end, it really took its toll, because I'm like, something's going on. I think I'm sick. Things are hitting me a lot differently. I got a bump or two, but this one bump is bigger than the other, and it makes you worried, and you don't want to get sick because you have doctor bills, and then you don't want more doctor bills. So I did everything and anything I could to avoid people and germs. Yeah, so I totally get where you're going. What you're going through with your podcasts and stuff. So
it's funny because we were talking about before the episode started, and this is for the audience, like you called me out, or not called me out, but we were joking around because I do mostly in-person podcasts, and over the last month or two, I used it as a crutch for, it's two things. I use it as a crutch because, well, one, Zoom's been easier since we moved just because, I haven't had the pod studio ready. But two, I had the last in-person podcast I did, someone brought me like a nasty, I don't know if it was the flu or what. And I was like, after that, I was like, dude, it solidly knocked a week off my training. And I was like, I'm going to keep doing Zoom for at least a few more weeks. And so I've been using it as a crutch, but we'll be having Kyle Richardson's coming on pretty soon, and that's going to be in person. Nice. So yeah.
Feeling it.
Good.
So, but along with that, I work with a bunch of kids at the local high school, everything else. And I also, took a step back of not just coaching, but just a break during winter break, just so I could stay away from germs, man. Yeah. And I've always been not so much a germ phobe, but, well aware. And yeah, this was like on steroids, just making sure hand sanitizer, I didn't wear a mask, but I made sure my hands and body was clean. And if I had to go anywhere around my mouth or anything, I made sure Kleenex was around. Yeah, it was, I still like that because, being sick, really makes you think about life, man, and I had that moment of just like, oh my goodness, because very my family is very healthy, not just my immediate family now, but just growing up, my dad did Boston Marathon 4 times, 3 or 4 times, did all kinds of marathons. I ran, my brothers, they do their thing. It just, you don't think about having cancer at all.
I know, and you're so young and active too, dude.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness I am active, and thank goodness I found it and was aware and said something, spoke up and advocated. That's like my job anyways, but advocating for myself is pretty difficult. Just because you stir the pot.
Yeah.
So
Well, the other thing is
um
this might rile some people up. Uh, since we're starting so early here, what I was gonna say was that,
yeah,
like,
dude, it's all right.
no, dude, in our medical system, yeah, you really got to speak up and advocate for yourself because the
Yeah.
and I don't think this is too controversial to say this, but like most of the times you're going to a doctor, like if it's your general physician, like unless you're really like pushing and saying like something's wrong, I need a blood test
Yeah.
or I need this test or I need that. Usually it's like, oh, well, you've got the common cold or you have this, that, and the other, wait a few weeks. And then if it comes back, come back and see me and you'll see a specialist. And that's the
Yeah.
super common.
Yeah, well, I dealt with this right before I went to go see my dad. Unfortunately my dad passed, but the last time I saw him, uh I had like this vertigo and I'm all like, "Whoa, what the heck?" I was at work, felt like I was drunk. That's the weirdest feeling ever, dude. You're at work and you're gonna pass out.
Yeah.
Well, that lump, I noticed the lump. I'm like, man, it has to be the lump and maybe stress. But I go to the doctor. I don't have a PCP. I don't have a primary care provider. I have the VA, right? And so I go to get help. I go just to urgent care. Well, they kept telling me it's all in my head. It's all in my head. Take this, take some vertigo medicine. So I did that for like 2 months. It kind of went away. Well, dad passes and everything else. I'm going in and out of the hospital and I'm like, all right, what's going on? So I'm trying to get approved through the VA to see local hospital, community care, as they say, because the VA takes forever just to go in, get in the facility. So they're like, it's community care. So I can see somebody outside the VA, but VA pay for it. And so from like April all the way till end of September, I finally got a doctor who is certified breast cancer surgeon. She does
Yeah.
the
Oncology, right?
yeah. Well, not oncologist, just general surgeon that
General, sir.
is well known to the breast cancer patients and everything else. And so, throwing out mammograms and, you being a guy, you don't ever think about that. So that was floating around. She basically spearheaded the whole situation. Come to find out I got cancer.
Mhm.
Well, dude, when you find out you have cancer and they don't tell you everything. They said it on the phone on a Friday, man. And
Oh my God.
on a
That's
Friday, dude.
terrifying. Oh my God.
Yes. So from that Friday to 2 weeks, and when I had to go see them, dude, my mind was just racing.
Panic?
I was,
Is it more panic or dread? Like how does, like, what goes through your head? Especially because you're a
dude,
father and you gotta, like,
yeah,
dude. Oh my God.
Y-
Because you're so young. That's the reason I say this. Is
yeah,
like it's
yeah,
not like
yeah.
you've lived your entire life. Like you've got a lot of time left, man.
It was a dark place, man. It was a dark place. And like I was saying earlier, I'll go back to that. Like I was saying earlier, when you're young, you never think of anybody, including yourself, will have the C word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's you don't. And so when you find out you have cancer, you're like, oh my God, you're I was in a dark place, dude. Like I know a lot of people say, oh, I was in a dark place. Man, I was drinking. I was drinking and I shouldn't have, and the only thing I can do was work out and drink, dude. And the moment I got off of work, I went to the bar
Jesus.
and I made sure I didn't come home because I don't want, my kids to see it, but I was drinking and more drinking, shouldn't have, and just trying to cope. And the 2 weeks were the worst 2 weeks of my life, man.
Sure.
And I lost my dad this year, lost my father-in-law, and in September. It's been a hell of a year, and um those 2 weeks, I'll never forget it, but I would want to forget it just because of the place that I was in, man. Didn't feel, I didn't feel like myself, you know. I just wanted to cope, and alcohol was my coping mechanism, you know.
Which a lot of people turn to, man. I mean, I'm not saying that if that's
Yeah.
healthy or not, but like,
Yeah.
obviously you got to deal. I mean, put it this way, as someone that's other than like situations I put myself in, whether it's in the mountains or doing something stupid, it's very strange to contemplate your own mortality, right?
Yeah.
When you're faced with something like the C word, um, you know, when it's something entirely out of your control for the most part, right? Other than, you know, you can go through certain medical things and go through that. Obviously, it's a different conversation, but like when it's entirely out of your control at first, I can't imagine what you were going through when someone call, especially when they call you on the phone. It's not like they can't even tell you in
Yeah.
person. What the hell?
Yeah, no, no. And she was off on a Friday too, so she stayed later, or she went into work just to call me. Yeah, I thanked her. But also I thanked her, like, you know, saving my life pretty much, and informing me that I do have something instead of it's all in your head, you know.
Yeah. Well, dude, I can't believe. So maybe like let's talk timeline a little bit here, just because, you know, I think especially for people listening to this, like I can't stress it enough as like the advocacy for yourself, but it sounds like the timeline is a really long time that passed. You know, for people telling you that, well, it's all in your head, you know, and then you continue to search for answers. Like, how many months was that over the entirety?
I noticed it and went to the doctor because January 18th is when I went to go see my dad in Indianapolis, in the hospital. So I went probably, I believe, the 15th of January, 16th of January to the doctor. And since then to September, playing the game of, oh, mammogram. Well, if he doesn't get a mammogram, we're not going to pay for it, you know, this and that. So I was like, man, just give me the mammogram. Oh, it's not needed, you know, and civilian doctors saying this, that. So it was just back and forth, back and forth. And I was going along with it. I didn't want to stress too much about it, but just do what VA told me to do, you know, just because seeing the bills now, I'm not gonna piss them off.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that's another thing is how expensive it is, man.
Yeah, dude.
What was the cancer you would ultimately diagnosed with?
Hodgkin's lymphoma, but it's a rare type, so it's it messes with the B cells. It turns the cells, the blood cells, into popcorn like shape. You know, as it pops, you know. Yeah, it's weird. The moment you learn more about it, you're like, huh, this is weird. But it is what is it? Nodular lymphocytes predominant Hodgkin's lymphoma. And it's a rare type. I'm going to have it for the rest of my life. I'm going to have to you know, be vigilant and check my body, check every, you know, lymph node. I had it in my armpit and around my neck. They found that, but yeah, that's what I have. And they said I caught it early, and it's not an aggressive one, but man, I am so glad I got it when I did, because dude, I couldn't imagine, because it feels like it's late. You know what I mean? I got it. They were playing with me, but they said I got it early. It's a less aggressive. They said this is the cancer that you would want to have. I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. Even the rare type, and it's like, yeah. A lot of laughs, a lot of giggles, a lot of sarcasm, you know.
I was trying to get you to smile because I was going to say I would never know. You look great, like, you know.
I appreciate
like
it,
the
man.
first day I met you. So
yeah, well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. So, and you've been going through treatment now. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like, what has the treatment process been like? Have you been able to, because, and for the audience that doesn't know this, like, dude, you're a straight up ultra runner. Like, you've run plenty of races. You've done a lot of adventures in the mountains.
Oh, yeah.
Has going through treatment, are you starting to set little goals for yourself? Like, all right, this is what I'm going to do after, you know, when the summer rolls around. Like, are you starting to change your mindset a little bit, or what has that been like?
So the moment I knew what cancer was going to be, and how it's going to be, I stopped drinking. I always had
It's a
that
good
problem,
start.
man. Yeah, yeah, no, I always had that. I had a love hate with alcohol. That's how my dad passed, and every time I knew he would, nonstop drink, I'd stop drinking. So I basically found out, and I was like, okay, well, went to Vegas for the NFR because that's part of the podcast.
Yeah.
I love the rodeo, love the Western lifestyle. Don't really live it, but I promote it because it's fun, and it's wild times, man. So uh, I'll be honest with you, man. I took my wife for the first time, went to a concert. I had 3 beers the first night, 3 beers the second night, got really sick. I think I ate bubble gums and got really sick, man. Spent the whole day in the shower, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
My
shit,
last day
dude.
in Vegas in the shower.
Vegas will
And
do that to
so,
you.
yeah. So, had fun, not that day. And that was the last time I drank. And that was, the first weekend of the NFR. So like the 8th, the 5th or the 8th of December, and doing pretty good, man. I've been around alcohol,
Yeah.
but Diet Coke it is, man. I know.
Okay.
I never thought I'd drink Diet Coke,
Diet
but
Coke. I didn't know it was 0 calories. I'm not gonna lie. My sister drinks
yeah,
Diet Coke.
dude, the
Like, what
zero.
the hell do you drink that for? But sure enough, 0 calories, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the good stuff. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, man. So I'm kind of a connoisseur instead of, connoisseur of alcohol. But so that following, I got back on that Sunday. I started my first treatment on Friday, and I just took the treatment, got, dude, it felt like the next day, it felt like I got hit by a bus. I know people say that cliche, but man, body ached, joints ached, headache out of control for 4 days, and I still went to work. I took the weekend just to recoup and try to get the body and mind right. So, a lot of ibuprofen, or not ibuprofen, a lot of Tylenol, because, it does something with your blood and whatnot. So they tell you Tylenol. So first first treatment, 4 days, dude, was just terrible headache. So I did a lot of stuff for the second week, a lot of prophylactic stuff, preventative measures, a lot of Tylenol, maybe not do this instead of that for the second treatment. Second treatment was the following Friday. Turned out to be okay. Third one, same as the second one. Fourth one, I presented myself doing the same thing. I was ready. I was go. And the fourth one hit me worse than the first one, dude. It's like, oh my gosh, I thought I had it. I had it in shape, man. I was good to go. And no, 6 days headache, man. I went to work afterwards too,
Oh no.
but managed, thankfully, my work, I had, Christmas break, just like the high school kids, and use that as just recover and just do what I can and be there for the kids and kids at school and just do my job and
What has that been
love
like
my job.
from a work perspective? Is it just like added extra pressure having to go to work every day while you're going through this? Or is it like, does work take your mind off of it? Like, what has that been like?
Work takes my mind off of it, but they're having budget issues, so it's like,
Oh man.
yeah,
Jesus.
that was more stressful. Yeah, that's more stressful than anything. But just knowing that, I love my job. I do it great. I'm very good at it, and being there for the kids and just being able to get my mind off of the cancer itself, it was a good thing for me. So work is never a problem, man. I would consider myself a workaholic, kind of.
There you go.
Yeah. I like work. I like work.
It's where you and I differ, man. Oh my god.
Yeah.
If I could just run in the mountains every day, that's what I would do.
I would, yeah, but yeah, you get paid for that though.
Yeah, not enough to not enough to survive. Not enough to pay the
Right.
mortgage, man.
I got you. I got you.
But yeah, no, it's I can't imagine what it's like. Now your treatment was different a little bit. I don't know if you want to go too deep into this, but like you did not do chemo. You did
It's a localized, localized infusion. It's rituximab. It's the same. Man, it's weird how they use this certain medicines for certain things, and they have multiple ways of treatments and stuff. But it's the same thing as rheumatoid arthritis, but with a twist. I think
Interesting.
that's how I read it, man. Yeah. Scientific, dude. If I was a scientist, or if you wanted scientific wording and everything else, I wouldn't be in the field that I am in today. So, good luck with that. But I believe it's similar to the rheumatoid arthritis. When people do their treatment, like maybe once or twice a year or something like that. It's all in the veins, and it's all day treatment. So you get there. I got there at like 8 o'clock. It started at 8:15, and didn't get done until like 3 or 4 each time. And you just sit there contemplating.
Is it painful?
Seeing, no, it wasn't painful. No, it wasn't. They I don't know, man. What do you consider painful? Like the meds going in your arm?
I don't know. I just wasn't sure, like if it's like, I don't know. This is
All
painful.
right. I'm gonna get real. I'm gonna get real. That wasn't painful. The painful thing was seeing other people in pain and going through stuff that's worse.
I'm sure.
Or what I consider worse. That was more painful than anything. But like I was saying before this episode, and sorry to get real, I don't want to get all.
No, please do, dude. It's your story. It's your story to tell.
Yeah, the cool thing is, man, is I'm not used to that kind of care. And the Tri-Cities Cancer Center in Richland, Kennewick, Washington, was out of this world caring. I've never been through something like that. Never had that care. It's hard to say, man, because I'm used to the VA. I'm used to the Army care, the treatment, not having a PCP, to having, someone say, do you need anything? We're here for you. They're every 30 minutes, taking, vitals, making sure you're comfortable. And when they're doing that, it's like everybody had their little cubicle kind of thing, they're to be comfortable, TV chair that you sit in, doing chemo and whatnot. But that, I think the painful part was seeing other people in pain and going through treatment that is worse, or cancer that is worse than yours,
Dude, sure.
Yeah, it's quite the sight. But man, dude, the care was out of this world. I give it all to their care, man. Just because once I found out like how it was, it set the tone for like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, and I'm going to work on myself. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to, do other things. I'm going to strictly, do what the doctor orders, and I'm going to better myself, because man, you see some people that's just, it's not good,
Yeah.
And so I don't want to, take advantage of my treatment, and just want to pay it forward, make sure, people get looked at. If something's foreign, go look at it, get it checked out. And that's the cause that I've been doing ever since I found out that I had cancer. Get looked at.
No,
don't hesitate.
I think you had an absolutely beautiful post on Instagram, on your podcast Instagram, and you said something very close to along the lines of that, and you've been a significant advocate for it. As I think that's like I said, I can't hammer this home enough. I think that's something that people, need to constantly talk about, and it needs to be something that's conversated. Just because in our medical system right now, it's a freaking train wreck,
Yeah.
and that's not it's it's definitely something that people need to do is advocate. So for sure.
Yeah, I never thought I'd advocate for cancer, man. Just like I said earlier, I never thought when I was, growing up that I would have cancer, period. And
nobody thinks about that, it's like,
yeah. And then you have it, you're like, oh my God. And you just think of the darndest things.
We're gonna go deep with this question, and you don't have to answer this. I'm just very curious, just because, like I said, I've only been faced with mortality. I've been very lucky through life, as probably many people have. And, you're only faced with your mortality for the things you put yourself in, as opposed to outside forces like cancer and things like that. Has it changed? How does it change the way you look at life? Like, and the reason I say this is because I think very deeply on this level. Like, every now and then when I'm wasting time at work or something, I realize, like, oh my God, I just wasted a day. And I'm like, you don't get too many of these. You need to stop wasting days and live life. Do you look at things a little bit differently now? Has it changed your perspective?
Not so much. The one thing I have changed is just the outlook and workouts, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You like them more, or you hate them more? Like, what's the...
If I need to walk, I'm okay with walking.
Okay.
Before it was like, dude, I need to go balls to the wall, it's go big or go home.
Yeah.
Now it's like, if I get a mile in, just pure running, and then walk for 2 miles and do another mile, I'm good. I'm good, man. And as long as I'm moving, I'm satisfied. Before, dude, I have to go get a full-on sweat because, that's just life, just how I measured everything. Now it's just, I'm moving, I'm happy, and just getting it out, man. Now it's like, instead of music, I'm listening to Audible books.
There you go. All right. Okay.
That's not like me, dude.
What's it like? Do you find more enjoyment in nature? Are you getting outside more? Is that helping at all too? Like, because I gotta understand. I gotta guess that, like, not just being sick wise cancer, but like mental health, it's gotta take an absolute toll on you too. So the outside has gotta, being outdoors has gotta be a giant help.
Yeah, thankfully, I'm a social worker, so mental health is, definitely I advocate for that. And nature's nature, man. Nature's always there. How can I answer this?
I don't know. I just find
mental health,
help, right?
Trails help, but it also almost goes hand in hand with just walking.
Yeah.
Because I never stopped and smelled the roses, as I like to say, and I had an episode just, explaining that, and on my podcast. I never really did that, but just me being able to not overly exert myself and just be out there and walk is my answer. Instead of nature, because I never really stopped and smelled the roses, take pictures,
listen to the quietness, man. Like, I think that's the one thing. It's funny, this season I've really upped it, like, big time. Like, I am very determined, let's put it that way. But like, I have also, like, when I take time to, like, I never used to just take time to do a hike as well, like as a double for the day or a triple. And I do a lot more hikes now, man, with the dogs, and I just don't bring my earphones and I just listen. And it's very relaxing to just take a walk, in nature, and just be there and be present and be grounded. I never used to appreciate that. And now, I don't know if it's me getting old and my wisdom, but damn, do I appreciate it. It really matters. And I would challenge any person listening to this, like, if you don't do that, like, find it, even if it's 20 minutes out of your day, just to hang out outside and just listen to nothing. It's great.
Yeah. So just moving, being out there is helpful. Nature, not so much. It was always a workout, workout, workout,
Yeah, yeah.
It was just, I'm outside, I'm working out. Now I'm outside, I'm just moving, Am I stop and smell the roses? There's not much to see around here, man. It's low desert, and it's very windy and cold here. It's not that fun. Now,
Pacific Northwest
later.
winter is not great, man.
No, especially Eastern Washington. It's a lot different. Everybody thinks it's an evergreen state. Not over here. It's scablands. And if you guys know what scablands is, it's Missoula flood, just washed this whole thing out. And basically, there's no trees in sight until you get to Spokane. So,
Oh God. Do you ever travel
Yeah.
at all? You ever have you ever go out to the mountains at all during the winter, or do any skiing or
I
anything like that?
I do. I do. I was gonna do Mount Hood ascent in winter ascent. I still up in the air. Um, this month or next month. I don't know, but I will be doing it in May.
Nice.
So again, I love Mount Hood. Mount Hood's good, but no, I travel a lot right now. I've been just doing stuff around my house. Just not the trail system here and there and a loop. Trying to stay closer to home just because I don't want to get stranded. Because of health.
Yeah. No, it's smart.
But that's my comfort zone right now. But I do and have been going out to the nearest mountain here and there. I want to do something else because it gets boring after so long. I've been doing it for years. It's just like, okay, let me go to Hood for a weekend.
Yeah.
Can't really go to Hood because of my kids and the wife,
Responsibilities, man. That's for sure.
Yeah.
How far are you from Mount Hood?
To 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on traffic.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not too bad at all.
Yeah,
it's a day trip.
To get the mountains. Any drive around here is 2.5 hours.
Okay, that's similar to Colorado Springs, man. We're like 2 hours, just about 2 hours from. I'd say probably 2 hours to the closest ski resort. 2 hours to all the other 14ers, other than Pikes Peak, and maybe it's a little bit less like Mount Evans, Mount Beardstadt, but like it's kind of it. I don't know. Yeah.
I did plan on doing Guadalupe Peak and Wheeler Peak
down south
in April. Yeah, in April. But man, the flying right now, I don't know if I want to fly.
Dude, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. I have my mother-in-law's here staying with us, and it's funny. My wife and I like never watch the news. I like live in a bubble, dude. I'm terrible with that. But my mother-in-law's here, and they're from like upstate New York, so the news is on a lot. And I feel like I've learned more about the news and like plane crashes and shit this week than I have in like the entire last 3 years of my life. Yeah, it's crazy. It is wild.
So. Yeah. So, if that doesn't happen, I think spring break, I'll just go do the highest point in Nevada.
That's cool.
And in the summer, end up going to your neck of the woods and doing Kings Peak and then the couple peaks were in Colorado.
Nice, man. I'd love to hear the Colorado's in the plans. Well, listen, man, if I'm here, if I'm around when you're in town, I'll take you up. It'd be an honor to go up with you. It'd be nice and fun.
Yeah.
Get up on. Have you been on Pikes Peak yet before?
No.
Oh, that's good. Well, that one's an easy one. We could take the train up, or we could do it the hard way and walk up,
hard way, dude. Go big or go home, dude. Go big or go home. But yeah, the nature, man. I don't know, man. I always go to these destinations and just get a workout in. And if I stop, I see it. If I don't see it. So yeah.
It's interesting. It's a crazy thing. It's funny. I have a very good friend of mine. One of my best friends. Shout out to Brad. He's more of an FKT racer, and he genuinely does it because he just loves the mountains so much. And I was thinking about this, just being introspective recently, and I was like, man, like what got me into the sport? Why do I love it so much? And like I was thinking about my like relationship with the sport has changed so much because it's gone such a like 360 from loving being in the mountains or 180, I should say, to performance and like racing and like loving that scene too. And it's like, man, I got to get back to like having balance because like if you do if you don't have balance, you should just enjoy like having fun
Oh yeah.
in the mountains, as opposed to, it can't always be how fast can I get to the top of this peak and down?
Oh yeah.
You know?
The cool thing though, man, is just being an outdoorsy person, outdoorsman, whatever, change it up and do some backpacking. You done that yet?
No, no. It's something I've been wanting to do. In fact, we were just talking about it because I was saying my wife's family lives in upstate New York, and we're going to be
Yeah.
in like Vermont, New Hampshire, New York for probably most of June this year. And yeah, I'm like probably going to do some of the AT. I don't know about backpacking, but like at least like hobby jogging / like
Yeah.
running some of
Sections.
it. Yeah, do a bunch of it in New York and Vermont, and maybe some of the long trail and stuff like that. It'd be cool to see. And I don't know if I'm the kind of person to ever do like a long backpacking trip. Like I don't know if I have the patience for something like that.
Yeah.
I'm a very impatient person. If I'm moving too slow, I'm like, what am I doing here? But that said, the older I get, the more I'm starting to think like, oh, maybe I could see something like that one day. It's especially because like there's technicality in the Northeast, so that's very engaging. Whereas like some of the longer trails out west, I don't know if it would like capture my.
It's different mentality, different feel, different love of the game. Not only you have to worry about the time, you worry about your pack, you worry about, your water, your food situation.
Yeah.
And then, if you can make camp before dark or, it's not dark yet, but I still can move. Let's go another 12 hour, another few hours until it gets dark, let's push yourself a little more. And then you spend more time in the mountains, you see the mountains and how the mountains, they look the same, but they're not. Every little crevice, every rock is different. One mountain range has granite, the other doesn't. It's just, dude, it's crazy. That's the only time I'll like just know the difference of nature and a workout when I backpack, man.
Well, I think there's something to be said too, especially if you're backpacking by yourself or if you're with a very small group of people. I think there's something to be said about that much time just being in your own head, like being alone with yourself, right? It's like,
Oh yeah.
that makes you change as a person, and I think those are growth opportunities too. So it's like, yeah, you get some fitness from it. Yeah, it's a, nature is obviously amazing, but I think like the growth potential as a person that you could probably gain from just like a long time just being in your own head and being by yourself. It's probably massive from something like that. Dude, I'm such a slow walker. Like this is kind of funny actually. Like my wife and I, like if we go for a hike, she drops me. Like I'm a notoriously slow walker / hiker. Yeah, I don't know why. And like it's hard for me. Like I do a lot of doubles or triples in a week where like the second like workout of the, or not, I shouldn't say workout, second stimulus of the day will just be like a long hike. A couple hours or something like that. Just time on the feet and just enjoying being outside for your mental health. And dude, I hate it. Like I'll get done and my ankles are hurt and I'm like, why do I not feel this when I run really hard or like run in the mountains? Like it's like hiking for me is like, I don't know. And I'm very slow. So that's another thing that's kind of funny. It's like I'm used to running at a pretty good clip, humbly speaking.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's I'm a really bad hiker, I should say. So have you ever done anything like that? Have you ever done like PCT or long trail or JMT or anything like that?
I've done parts of the JMT. I've done the north to South Lake in Bishop, California. That was 40 or 60, something like that. 46 to 60 miles, and you get the portion of JMT, and you get the John Muir Pass. You get all that. You get it's Darwin.
Yeah,
it's just the views there. But that I've done that, and also do a lot of destinations as my hub, and then I'll have my camp, and then I'll just go one trail, next trail, one trail, next trail. So I'll do like 2 or 3 trails a day
Oh wow.
and just head up to camp, not sleep until I'm like, I crash. But that's how I normally get around. And that's how I am able to do all these mountains and Cascades and uh Sierras and whatnot.
Cascades are sweet range, man. I gotta tell you, put September 13th. I think it's September 13th. It's that second weekend of September, second or third. I gotta find out. Don't put it in your calendar until I give you the date. But I'm coming out to see it. We're gonna do I'm gonna do Cirque Series Crystal, so Crystal Mountain, which is in
Okay.
can't be that far from you. It's gotta be what, 3 hours,
No.
dude. You should think about doing that race. You should come out. You should come out for a little Cirque Series.
Who puts it on? Who puts it on?
It's a Cirque Series race. So the Cirque
Okay.
Series it's a sub ultra series of races, and they put on some of the most I'd say competitive, deepest sub ultra. When I say sub ultra, like mountain classic distance, so like 10K,
Right.
11K, 14K, and they're usually like that distance with somewhere between 2 to 3 to sometimes 4,000 feet of vertical. So for instance, like the Crystal Mountain one, I think is like just south of 3,000 feet of vert and like 7 miles. So it's basically straight up to the ridge line. You'll be on the ridge line for a little bit and then you drop down and you get speedy descents on some single track and some dirt road, and it's fast. It's very fast, but it's so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're putting it on for the first time this year. So that's on my list to go out and do.
Okay.
So you should put that one on. Start thinking about coming out to do Cirque Series.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's hard to get away from what I have. What I have planned or not planned. And you talk about walking. It took me 2 to 3 years to do or train for multiple day events, 24 hours, 32, 48 hours. And basically my walk is almost like my jog. So
that's impressive, dude.
Yeah. So it's true. It's an art form. It is difficult, man. And once you have it, it's really tough to go to speed, man. And I've been trying to go back to speed. I've tried. I'm trying, man. I'm trying, but I'm hooked, and I've been in it for quite some time. It took me a long time to get in the motion, get in the groove of multiple day events. I love them. I'm just taking a step back. I'm going to do more mountains this year.
I like it.
I signed up for across the years last year.
Okay. Yeah. Great race.
I signed up for the 48-hour one, but I had to cancel. They were, man, shout out to Aravaipa, man. They didn't, they didn't cut my loss. They said that I have until 2026 to use the credit for that race. And I think that's the only race I'm going to do this year, the 48-hour one.
Okay. When does it cross
just
the
because of it's the race, man, it goes from
when is
6 hours. When? January. It goes across I guess New Year's.
Okay.
The 28th to past New Year's, all the way up to 6 days. So,
okay. So I thought it
and
just
that's my goal.
Okay, dude, that's amazing.
That's my goal.
I love to hear it.
Yeah. But man, after tearing my plantar fascia last year, dude, it was just like hitting at all angles, man. And getting that plantar fascia, I'd rather have back surgery than tearing my plantar. Dude.
How did you?
And I had
how did you do that?
Overuse and not stretching a lot, not stretching appropriately, or the amount of times I was putting beating to my body. Basically, it was the calves, man. You gotta stretch the calves, beat them up to the point that it just lowers the tension on your wheels, man. And I tore it, dude. I went to a foot doctor, did my best. Scar tissue so bad it's almost like a pressure point, dude. Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You might be the only person I've ever met that's torn their plantar fascia. And how did you what does that pain feel like? What's the area of your foot that hurts? Is it like?
So I'll show. Are you gonna put this on YouTube?
No. I mean, if you want me to, I can.
Oh, okay. No. I see you taking clips, but
yeah.
All right.
I'll make sure this is the one I clipped for.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it, but it was right here, man. Right there,
shit.
right.
Okay, so right near, like underneath the arch. Oh my god, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, right past the heel to the arch, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it's been eventful, man. Yeah, so don't ever need surgery, because I swear, ever since I had back surgery, it went downhill from there, man. I went from back surgery to torn meniscus to everything else you can think of, dude.
Wow. Yeah, man. I haven't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Only, knock on wood, so far it's just been an ankle that it snapped, but other than that, it's been relatively smooth sailing.
Oh yeah. There's nothing like a second grade tear or sprain in the ankle. I've had that a couple times, man. Yeah,
dude. I was just telling I was just talking about the ankle the other day, like when I snapped it, like listening, I heard it snap, like it was the loudest snap. Yep. Oh my god, yeah, dude, that's not something I ever want to do again. That was probably the most.
It's your worst fear, man.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know.
It's a fear.
I've been running a lot more downhills lately and just trying to get more comfortable with like high intensity going down, and especially with rocks and technical stuff. And I think it's just, repetitions, and you start to get more used to it. I don't know. Yeah, it does, but like you just can't fear it, just have hope for the best.
Yeah. Well, when you hear the pop, there's no sound like it, man. You're like, oh, I heard the pop. Oh my gosh. That's what I'm saying. Like the fear. Yeah.
It's been years.
And it's like, oh God, I don't want to, I can't mess with my wheels, man. You can't mess with my wheels.
The other thing that scares me is the Achilles tendon. It's something I never want to,
dude.
Because the people that like have problems with the Achilles, especially with like Hodgkin's deformities and stuff like that, like that carries you for a while unless you go get it cut out, and it's like that's worse if you snap the Achilles. Like I've only known one athlete in trail running.
I'm cringing, man. The more you talk, dude.
The Achilles is not good.
Yeah. The surgery for that, man. Ugh.
So yeah, man. So yeah,
but for you, man, what were you? Cross the years? Go for it.
No, I was just gonna ask you about cross the years. Like that's I think that's a solid goal, man. It's exciting. It's something to train for, and you got another year to go for it. And yeah, I think that's a beautiful goal. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. There's nothing like fixed course, and you bring your stuff and you just have a little your little area and get what you need, get what you get. Don't throw a fit, and fixed course. They can be boring, but I mean that's how you can push the body and not worry about anything.
It's true. Well, you know what, dude? One of these days, we are going to recruit you to Sub Ultra. We're going to get you out. We're going to... I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be a solid Sub Ultra race. Maybe we'll get you Broken Arrow or something. We'll get you there. So, yeah, it'll be good. I will eventually get your ear enough to bring you to the dark side.
Yeah, my big goal, though, man, so I remember talking to Ben Light and Mike McKnight, right? Not throwing any names out there, but they were thinking about this 300-mile race in Utah, and they're finally putting it on. That's what I want to do, man. I thought about doing the crazy mountain, the 300 that's in Montana, that only I think it's up to 15 people or 20 people. But Montana is more brutal than Utah, and I'll take Utah over Montana just because the Grizzlies.
That's fair. That's
because you have to take a class, man. You have to take a class, and you carry the bear spray and whatnot, when you're doing that Montana race. But think about hitting Mike McKnight up and say, hey, dude, can I get in? 300 miles, man. Just do it. Dude, just try it.
I think you should absolutely go for it.
That's the number one goal right now.
I just happened to come across Mike McKnight's Instagram. That guy is jacked now, dude. He's in an insane shape. Like,
dude, yeah.
holy shit, he's
Yeah.
in crazy shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like I don't know, I think he like put something up about like I don't know, people call him like a bodybuilder now. Like he's jacked, like seriously jacked. The guy is in insane shape. So yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and he's doing other competitions and stuff like that and killing it there. It's like, what can't
I think he's doing high
what
rocks.
can you do? What can't you do?
High rocks is like
yeah,
CrossFit adjacent. Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. CrossFit. Yep. But yeah, no, he's killing it. Him and his milk products.
Is that what he has as a milk product? Oh man,
Raw.
It's funny. Like
raw milk.
The 200-mile people is like a completely different scene than like it's an own world. Whereas like the sub ultra is its own world. You know, then there's the ultra scene, which is like your 100-mile distance, 50K. You know, that like premier scene, which is interesting. So it's cool to see like how there's all different like worlds within the sport, and there's like some little crossover with, you know, not too
man. And,
yeah.
And you know, I've had big names on the podcast. I'm getting, you know, big names that aren't so vocal or out there like Ben Light, Mike McKnight, you know, and some of your guys that are part of your program, not on your podcast, but Ultimate Direction.
John Kelly. Yeah.
Kelly. But dude, I've been getting these people in and just tweaking their mind, trying to find out like how they do what they do, which I love. That's the premise of the podcast, you know, just why do you do what you do? How do you do it? And you know, what does it take to complete it, man? Well, I had Deshauna Joe on. Have you ever heard of her?
I think from your podcast, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, complete BA, dude. Total badass, right? If you follow her, man, you can tell, you know, she just likes to move. And when I was interviewing her, she's done crazy 3 times, Crazy Mountain. She wants to finish it. She hasn't finished it. She's done Cocodona. She's done all those 200 races, right?
Oh wow.
And I asked her, leading up to the race, how many miles does she get a week? Crazy, dude. Almost like John Kelly. John Kelly blew my mind when he said he gets 60 in his routine, you know?
Yeah.
20 to 30 miles. 20 to 30 miles, and she completed Cocodona, bro.
I believe it. Dude, you know what it is? Especially I can speak a little bit of John Kelly's training just because I know him, but like everything John touches is quality. Like there's no bullshit miles in there. Like there's nothing.
Oh yeah.
And he does a lot more speed work than people think. He does a lot. Like that dude's really fit. And I think like people get the wrong idea because he does like super long stuff. So people automatically synonymize like long stuff with walking. No, John Kelly is fit as fuck, dude. Like I've run with him a couple times. John Kelly is a really good athlete.
Yeah, he's a freak of nature, man.
Yeah,
there's a reason why he can complete Barkley.
Like John Kelly's top of the food chain. Like if he wanted to go, race, I think I forget what his marathon time is. He's got a pretty fast marathon time. Like he's a legit athlete. Like he's not playing around, and
he puts me to shame.
Rightfully so. He puts a lot of people to shame, dude. Right, like rightfully so. He's like, you know, that's why I just think like Barclay's a different beast because it's, you know, it's really hard, right? But like I'm just talking like from a pure fitness perspective, like an actual like a 10K 5K marathon, like he's actually like a solid competitor. Like he's a very good athlete. So,
but for him to say 60, I've been getting a couple people, you know, like Lance Harp, he's a local runner. Shout out to Lance. You know, he said he walked all of Cocodona. I'm like, okay, all right.
The 250-mile walk, dude. This is a long way to go.
yeah. But then I get her on, man, and she's just 20 to 30 miles a week, man. It just blew my mind. I'm like, wow. And then I'm getting, you know, another gal on that I work with who doesn't have to train at all.
Yeah.
But she'll do a 50 miler like that, dude, and finish it. I'm like, oh, I've trained up to certain times and I'll get a DNF, you know? I'm just saying, it just blows my mind, man. So I've been expanding, the podcast and just getting all sorts of data, beta, as climbers like to say, and just work the system and see how the mind works. I mean, it works in mysterious ways, and seeing what the body can do. Yeah, man, it's been fun lately. It's been fun, and a lot of people have been noticing it, on the podcast, and noticing that I have been having a lot of fun considering the circumstances, and
It's a
only
good
putting
outlet. Yeah.
yeah 19 episodes out last year. People were like, "You're still on the podcast?" Yeah, I'm still on the podcast, but
Wait,
I
it's
just
tough
had
year,
to deal
man.
with it. Yeah. So, but now it's like, dude, Nick, you're killing him. Like, am I? I'm just having fun, man. I'm just having
Back.
fun.
The man is back. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Come on,
Yeah.
Father.
Right. I like I I'm always there to help people, man. And if you had a niche for podcasting and you needed help, I'm always there. It's not a cutthroat world for me. I'm always willing to, pass it along if you're gonna have fun. So,
I
and
appreciate it.
look at you now, man. 60 something, dude. You're pushing them out.
60. Well, no, I'm going to be at 60 something interviews, but I'll be at, I think this episode is like close to 100. Like it'll be like at 100 by year one. That was the goal. I put out a ton of volume, dude.
Yeah.
Volume, see what sticks, see what works. Yeah, man, it's everybody I've spoken to has been so kind. Like the podcast, and like whether it be you, Jonathan Levitt is another guy from Beyond the Trail. Finn Melanson from Single Track has been a good, I bounce ideas off of him. Like there's
Single Track, yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that have been just like so monumental and like helping grow this damn thing. And I mean, It's not, I'm not going to lie. Like I think any person that's a very competitive person like myself, and any person that like, has high aspirations, like, for certain things, like I wish it was bigger. Obviously we all wish we, bigger this, better that, but it's like, it has been an amazing journey. Like I think the more I gotten out of it is more so just like having made so many friends. I think that's the crazy thing.
Serious.
Is like,
right?
It's been so cool to like cover the sport and like, help tell the stories of, I think that, so there's a, I don't know if you're familiar with like free trail, right? And this is no knock on free trail. I think free trail is amazing. I just think that free trail follows a very specific type of athlete. And there are so many athletes out there that don't get their shine. Yeah. Especially in the sub ultra space, like no one's covering the space. So for me, it's like, this is the most competitive racing, figure, let's take Golden Trail, right? And then the Skyrunning series, and then the Cirque series, and then your one-off races that are, amazing as well. There's so many of some of the world's most competitive mountain races, if you will. And it's like, some of the best athletes in the world are racing these, and no one's following it, or no one's covering it, and talking about it and helping to tell stories. And there's
crazy, right?
Right. Well, and you get a lot of these people that like, you're Remy Bonets of the world, right? I'm sure everybody's heard of Remy, but like, then, nobody could tell me who got fifth at Pikes Peak in 2023 or 2024. Nobody can tell me, but it's like, that athlete is an incredible athlete, and like deserves to have their story told, and they're top of the food chain. So it's like, that's kind of where I see it is, and then the other thing too is people coming up in the sport. I love being able to tell the stories of those that are starting to, because as an athlete, it's easy for me to tell like, all right, this person's going to be really good, or this person is really good.
Yeah.
They have a lot of potential, right? But it's like being able to tell that story and kind of get that energy off of them, because they're coming up, and there's nothing more magical than that, to be able to see that and watch that, become a thing. So it's been crazy, dude. Yeah.
And then put them on.
Yeah. And it's weird too, because
put them on and understand what they do.
Yeah. Understand what they do, but I think it's even more so their mindset. It's wild, dude. Like Michelino Sinceri is a great example. Like Michelino is a buddy of mine, and he's a wild boy, interesting cat. But he's like, has fun with it, and he's enjoys it, and like loves the sport, but also he's a little more relaxed, right? He's hardcore, like he's an amazing athlete, but like a little more relaxed about it, like different personality, right? I think that's what I'm getting at. Right. But then you meet like John Aziz, and John Aziz is a 3-time Pikes Peak Marathon champion, and the dude is like XYZ, like dialed, like completely he's an aerospace engineer PhD. So like completely opposite personalities. And like it's interesting because they both competed at the highest and operate at the highest of levels. So, and be able to see the way they think, and both have massive success in the sport. And you could take little things from different people and apply that in what you do. And it's helped my game a lot. Like I've learned so much as an athlete, and it's helped me get a lot better.
Right.
So yeah, it's cool. It's crazy. Yeah. What a world.
Yeah.
What a
So
sport,
it's a win-win. So it's a win-win, man. And putting those people up, like you were saying, that's what I've been doing, the Western lifestyle. And that's how I've created, the success that I have in that. First I question myself because, I don't look the part, man. I just go there. I love the rodeo, man. I love the events. I do it. I'm good at it. I know who are up and coming, and, I approach them, and then the runners, dude, if they come, they come. If not, oh well. But lately I've been putting people up there that question themselves, and then they have like a moment of clarity, knowing like, yeah, I'm good at what I do. And then they tell the story, and they tell me afterwards, thank you. I needed that. I needed that little push, and so yeah, that's what I've been doing, man. And I've been having fun when it comes to the runners. Not so much, get Mike McKnight on, or, the big names, John Kelly on, or you, believe it or not, you're a big name. Just let you know that. Yeah, whatever, man, whatever, dude. But yeah, it's just, it's pretty uplifting, man, to know that we have this platform that can push people to new heights, whether, they're athletes, studs themselves, or people that are starting and questioning whether or not they have the fortitude to do what everyone does about our, our population on the podcast, so
I agree, man. It's
pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's a privilege. I think that's the one way I'll put it, is like, especially a year in and with no plans on slowing down anytime soon. Like it's definitely, it's a privilege to be able to help tell people stories and, and grow the sport and push it in the direction, at least have some power and push it in the direction I think it should go. I think that's another thing, is being able to, because there's so few people covering the damn sport that I don't know, you get a little power to be able to be like, all right, well, we should cover this. And maybe it's the right thing, maybe it's not. I don't know,
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling just to be there and do what you love and do, cover something that you care about.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, well, dude, do you think we got everything?
When are you going to get Bo on?
When am I? Oh, Bo Shelby. Yeah, I was going to bring him up actually, because I was going to tell you, like, that's a solid talent. He's got to run a sub ultra race. If he runs a sub ultra race, he's on the podcast.
No, have him on, dude. The kid is good.
Oh no, he's no, there's no doubt. But I got to stick to the scope. I got to cover the sport. We gotta.
Man, I haven't done a sub ultra in years, man. Come on, why you got me on there? Because I'm the podfather.
You're the podfather. You're the influence for this podcast. Actually, no. And I got to give Bo Shelby his flowers. I mean, he had a great Leadville last year. I'm very aware of who he is. He's had a great race at Run Rabbit. Obviously, a great race at Leadville. I'm glad. I can't remember. Did he win Silver Rush? He did very well at Silver Rush a couple years back, and then obviously had a great race at Leadville. So no, I listen, very aware. Like I said, I'm the one stringent policy is like you gotta do a sub ultra race at some point. So if he puts himself up in a sub ultra race, done. I'll give him the interview of his life.
Dude, just give him an interview, man. Because the kid, I call him a kid because he's younger than me, man. But dude, he is talented, and I will never forget the first time I met with him, ran with him, even though we were doing last man standing. I was doing the ruck, he was doing his thing, and dude, no one moved like
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's good,
dude. No one moved like him, and he doesn't even put in the effort. But man, is he a dark horse? No matter what, dude, it's crazy.
Not for long, dude. Not for long for a dark horse. He's gonna be if he keeps running like the way he ran Leadville. if he has another couple more successful races like that, like his name will be out there. That kid's good, very, very good. Yeah, good talent, man. Good eye for the talent over there.
Yeah, dude, I'm good. I coach, man. I coach track and cross country, so I know a few things. I might be old, but not that old, and I got my niche. But no, he went to Worlds too.
Did he? I don't think so.
Backyard Worlds.
Oh, backyard Worlds. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the way it works.
He went to Worlds, man.
I don't know the way it works for backyard for how that works, but that's amazing, dude. Kid's legit. There you go.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. So what's next, man? What's next for you?
Oh, dude. Big block of fitness right now. Working on, running a very fast 10K. It's kind of where I'm at, somewhere in that realm. I'm like midway through the block and destroying myself, like 3 workouts a week. So trying to get that done. Once that's over with, transition back to the trails, probably around late March, early April, and start preparing for the trail season, dude. I'm going to be all over the place. Racing in, we'll be doing, I'll be racing in the U.S. Mount. I think it's up, down mountain running champs at Sunapee. So I'll be there for that, trying to qualify for Worlds. Yeah, that'll be fun. And then Cirque Series Cannon.
You'll get it.
No. It'll be exciting to be there. Dude, the competition is just it's insane. Like these are the best athletes in the world. And like the depth is so deep. So it'll be fun just to compete and see what that level's like, because that's another level up from whatever level I've ever even been on. So it'll be fun to see like what that looks like. I think it'll be all right. Cirque Series Cannon, look forward to doing well there. Cirque Series Killington I'll be at, which I'm very excited for. I'll be going to Alaska this year for the first time, which I'm excited. I'll be doing Cirque Series Alaska. What else am I doing? A couple more. I'll be at Cirque Series Alta, and then...
Dang, dude, you're busy.
Cirque Series... Well, so I just signed another deal with Sportiva, and there's a big push because they sponsor the Cirque Series, so there's a big push. We'll have all of our athletes out there to compete, and it'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be like a big homecoming, big family reunion with all these Sportiva athletes out there throwing down. So it'll be cool for that.
Yeah.
What else am I doing? I'll be at A Basin. Whether I'll race or whether I'll just be there in person to cover, that's to be determined. And then the Rut, which I'm super excited for. I'm definitely doing the VK. I might do the 28K as well. I'm undecided on that. And then Cirque Series Cannon. And then I did sign up for a 50K. I am going to run a very unknown race. It's called the Sangre de Cristo 50K in this beautiful area, the Sangre de Cristo Mountains of Colorado. I signed up for it just because I've had good success over the years. It was the first race I ever ran in Colorado, which was the Sangre de Cristo 50K, and I led it for almost to the last to mile 25 and rolled my ankle and walked it in, came 12th place. So I have to come back and right that wrong. I've got the course record at the 27K and the 14K. So I'd like to get it at the 50K just for a little something fun to do at the end of the year or at the end of the racing season.
Listen to you, man.
So yeah, man, that's the plans. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Listen to you, man. Here I am, one race because of all the stuff, but then I'm going to do a lot of mountains and trails. So 2 things, man. I remember when you first started, you were second guessing yourself on whether or not you should start this podcast. You're killing the game, right? Second, bro, I know you're humble. That's why I love you, dude. But La Sportiva, ultimate direction, they don't just sign duds. Okay. And for you to say, oh, I'm not out there right now, and me telling you, dude, you'll get it, and you not questioning, but you just saying no, dude, you need to stop doing that, man.
Oh, thanks. No, I mean,
there's a reason why they signed you. There's a reason why they signed you, bro. And you gotta take it. You gotta take it as is. I love the humbleness, man. But dude, you are an elite athlete.
Oh, thanks, man. No,
okay.
I appreciate the kind words so much.
And listen, you got to own it.
I do. The thing is our sport, and I think that I have to give flowers where it's due for certain things. Our sport is just so competitive, dude. And it's so difficult. And I think for me, it's the motivation to go race something like Sunapee. So for instance, like I have goals. Like my goal is to, like, for Christ's sake, finally get on the podium of Cirque Series race this year. That would be great. That is obviously the goal of one of them, of the many that I'll be doing.
Okay.
But the goal is also to chase the pro podium. Like there's the way it works is they have, just like any, like whether it's the Golden Trail Series, the Cirque Series, or the Skyrunning Series, there's a pro ranking, if you will. And last year I was happy, I was stoked. I got into the top 10. I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
Meaningless for other people, stoked for me. It was like, all right, this is validation, considering some of the best mountain runners in the world, your Christian Allens, your Philemons, your Joe Grays end up in there. Not saying that I'm anywhere near that level, because I'm certainly not, but it was definitely some little bit of validation. And like, I'm like, all right, if I continue to work really hard at this, eventually it'd be at that level. Sunapee, for something like Sunapee for me, is going to be one, and I can say this right now just because I cover the sport and just because I know the sport so well. So something like Sunapee is either going to be won by a complete unknown, someone that's going to come from the track and field background and completely obliterate that race, or it's going to be somebody like your Christian Allen, which if you that's someone to have on the podcast. The kid is elite of the elite. Top. Like, there's levels to the sub ultra scene in a way that I don't think people understand. Like, it is just such a competitive field, and like that's why a lot of names people don't learn a lot of names, because someone like Joe Gray, who's 40, can be 41, has had such longevity because he's just been top of the sport for so long. And if he wins all the races, it doesn't. And same like Christian Allen, same with your Max Kings. It doesn't create as much space for big names to get known. That's why there's a little bit less. But dude, it's the depth is so deep, man. So yeah, I mean, I'm realistic. I'm not, I don't want to say like, I'm going to go win this or win that or call that shot.
No, you don't have to, but you can say that you're one of the big dogs, though. You can tell people, you can say it. Well, I'm going to say it for you, dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
Because here you are. The podcast game is competitive, no matter how you look at it. Daily work, our jobs, it's competitive, no matter how you look at it. It's cutthroat, where I work, and and the group or the social work life, it's competitive there. It's cutthroat. Anywhere you look at it, man, it's competitive. And you got it, dude. You got it in the podcast world. You got it in life, man. Shout out to your wife, dude.
Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, I'm married now.
You got married. I mean, come on, dude. You're killing it, dude. And I'm proud of you, man. And I just want nothing but the best. And you doubting yourself or questioning, dude, stop doing it, man. There's a reason why La Sportiva signed you, Ultimate Direction, and others, so.
Oh, dude,
you got it, bro.
I appreciate the kind words, man. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. We'll see what happens this year. It's definitely going to be fun, just to go to new places and compete against great athletes. And, competition's fun, dude. Like, there's nothing more fun than being able to completely empty yourself, and then with a bunch of other like-minded individuals, and see where that tops out. And I enjoy the process. I used to hate the process, but the process is so much fun. Like being able to like improve 1% more every few days or every week, or compounding workouts and seeing like how much fitter you can get in a certain amount of time. And it's like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I worked years for this, and it's like, well, we'll see what happens. So yeah, man, it's a great sport. It's the best sport in the world. That's for sure. Yeah.
When I know you have fur babies.
Yeah.
Any babies?
No.
Any additions?
No, man. You know what? That actually hasn't come up. I think we're at the.
You're good.
You're the first person to ever ask me this, other than than family.
Tongue-tied.
No, you got me. No, dude. No plans as of right now. I'm a deeply selfish person. It's terrible. Like I'm very busy too. And that's something I think will probably use as an excuse or a crutch. But I'm also deeply selfish in the way that like, I really covet and take so serious the amount of effort I put into my training, and performance and being in the mountains and stuff like that, like, dude, I would be a terrible father just because like, I'm just so focused on wanting to, get better, be a better podcaster or be a better runner.
I got you.
Or be good at work. I don't know. I don't know. It's time. Yeah, the time is ticking too because I am 34. So I don't know. The wife will probably listen to this too.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
That's
We'll
fun.
see the conversation that comes out of that.
Last question, man. Last question. When are you gonna be able to say you made it? What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take for you to say you made it, man? You're top of your game. You've you maxed out. What's it gonna take?
Top of my, is this for podcasting or is this for running? What is this for?
All the above.
All the above. Oh, dude, never.
Let's go podcasting. Let's go podcasting first.
It's never. Well, here's the deal. All right. So if you really want to get into the nitty gritty of podcasting, and if you do listen to my podcast, you know me and you know how I feel about like what I do for a living, right? Like I hate the corporate world. I work in the corporate world. I work for a huge Fortune 500. I work in corporate finance. I think it's soul sucking and I hate it. And for me, the greatest gift and the greatest piece of joy that I could ever have is being able to, for me at least, like when I'll have kind of made it is if I can take a step back from that and have the podcast full time. That would be like the greatest gift I could ever give myself. Will that happen? I don't know. That's why I work my ass off to be able to see if we can make that happen. I don't know. But that wouldn't have been making it because once you get there, like you have to worry about your income then year over year to like, for these brands that, have shitty deals to be able to, that's for another conversation. But, and I am very thankful for the support of Ultimate Direction. That's not what I meant by like, I will say it is very difficult from podcasters I know that are making it like they're either their full-time living or like extract a significant amount of money. It is a very difficult way to make a living. So it's trading one thing for another. But that said, it does matter. And it means a lot. Like to be able to do that. And I think it's even more so for me, just the excitement to be able to do something I truly love. Like if you know me, like if anybody that knows me is listening to this, like they know how much I love this sport and how much I want to grow this thing and like see where I can take this sport. So to me, the short answer is I'll never be satisfied. I'll never be where I want it to be just because I'll constantly be obsessing. And then it's the same thing for running. Yeah, I thought about this for a long time and I joke around because like my poor wife, every summer, our summer schedule is dictated by where am I going to race and what are you doing?
Right.
And it's like, I'm 34 now and I've put Rose through this now for, I don't know, 5 years. And now, especially like as my life has grown around the sport and now that I'm a quote unquote athlete, if you will, I have a certain expectations and contracts that I have to abide by and follow if I want to, pursue that. So
continue.
I don't know. I think for me, what's going to happen is, like I never thought in a million years, like I'd be able to become a quote unquote, like sponsored runner, if you will. Right. And now that I've done that, it's like the lure of that is great. It's amazing to run for a brand. The support is everything I can ask for and more, it's so cool. Eventually, like you got to remember too, the way I think about it, like there are so many athletes in the sport that I love and respect that should have spots on these teams. The second that I feel like I'm just taking up a spot that deserves to go to somebody else, I'll, gladly give that spot to someone that deserves it. And, and I'll go on my merry way and continue to grow the podcast. There's some things I want to check off in the sport. Like I do think I haven't like realized capability wise, like what I am capable of. Like, like last summer, dude, a lot of it was figuring out how to actually race. A lot of the guys I was going up against are sub 14-minute 5K runners or sub 30-minute 10K runners. And it's like, fuck, like there's a steep learning curve in learning how to race these guys and gals, some of the best sub ultra females athletes in the world. So like now that I feel like I've finally overcome a lot of that space and being able to like get a lot faster and improve a lot and learn how to race and learn the strategy, it'll never be fully realized. Like I'm never going to be 100%, but like I will say that I want to get a few more goals that I have like check off, and then I'm just going to focus on the podcast and gladly give that spot to someone who deserves it and should be in that space. So
well, I'm glad you decided to do the podcast and you're persevering, dude. You're successful. You're killing it. Continue doing that, dude. Continue kicking butt in life. with the wife and the fur babies.
Shout out to Robbie and Luna and Rose.
Yeah, and I definitely want you on around 300 if that's okay, because I'm hitting 250. Never thought I'd be at 20. I never thought I'd be past 7, because that's how far podcasts are long. Podcasts last or don't last, and to even be near 250 says a lot. And the listeners are loving it. I'm loving it.
It's a beautiful thing. I love what you do, and it's
thank you.
I think we all have our like niche of what we like to like. I don't know. I think the thing I love about Miles and Mountains to me is like I knew shit about rodeos until I started listening to your podcast. The road, and then you also introduced me to other runners. Like I would have never heard about. Like obviously I knew who Bo Shelby was from you and I talking, but like I would have never known about him. Even Michael McKnight, Chris Fisher. I think the first Chris Fisher podcast I ever listened to. Shout out to Chris Fisher. What a good dude.
Yeah.
The first Chris Fisher podcast I ever had on I ever listened to was yours.
Dude.
And
Jason
Hardrath. Wow, boy.
And you had him on, dude. That's awesome, bro.
He twisted my arm. He's coming on for episode 69, I think, in 2 days, something like that.
Sounds like him.
Yeah. He
sounds like him.
Literally, he wants to talk about like I don't know, astronomy or some crazy mountain or some crazy space shit and like the Fermi paradox. And I was like, dude.
He has time. I guess he recently hurt himself, so he has time. And dude, he's changing up a bit, man. That age does that, dude. Age does that. But yeah, man, it's I appreciate you having me on your podcast, man. I appreciate this conversation. Definitely been a little busy lately with the podcast, but more and more falling in love with it, man. It's never going to get old. Whether I get sponsored or not, I'm not even sponsored. So it's all independent and I just have fun doing it, man. And sharing people's stories is what I love, and continue sharing, what you do and what you love. So
listen,
thank you.
At the end of the day, like, I just want to let you know just how much respect and admiration I have for your story, and just like your story of perseverance to be able to have gone through such a serious situation in the last year. I just want you to know like how much I, hold that, to such a high level. You're super strong, dude. And I really respect that, and it means a lot to me. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I'm honored that you have me on, man. And since I don't fit the status quo.
Oh my God! No.
Just messing, man.
No. For you, listen, dude. You're the like I said, you're
Thanks.
the podfather. You're the one who came up. When I brought you the idea, you're like, yeah, you really need to do that. So yeah,
man.
You're the one of the people that really pushed me to pursue this. So
we'll get it going, man. Shout out to everybody that's listening. So shout out to James, man. Thank you, James.
Thanks, man. Dude, thank you. Have a wonderful night, and this will be the first of many.
Yep.
What do you guys think? What a great episode. I want to thank Nick so much for coming on and being brave enough to tell his story. His story is very inspiring, and I want to just thank him, and I just wish him the best of luck on his adventure as he continues to navigate this difficult time in his life. He's a big community figure and a good dude. So guys, before you get going, do me a favor, hop on Instagram. Let's get Nick some followers. You're going to find him at Miles Mountains _podcast. That is his podcast, the Miles and Mountains podcast. You can find that on Apple as well as Spotify. Definitely give them a follow. Some really interesting, good stuff in there. He's, he interviews a lot of trail runners, a lot of ultra runners, a lot of people in the 200-mile community, as well as comedians, and a lot of people in the rodeo scene. I love that his podcast is centered around, things that he's super interested in, like his different interests, which is pretty cool. So definitely want to give some love to the Miles and Mountains podcast. Definitely give them a follow. And guys, if you enjoyed this one, or if you continue to tune in on the podcast, I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If you wouldn't mind, give us a 5-star rating and review on Spotify and Apple. That's how we can continue to share these amazing stories of these athletes and get them out to the world and continue to cover the great sport that we love so much. Very last but not least, guys, if you happen to be in the market for a pack or a belt or any type of running apparel, a handheld of some kind, water bottles, you name it, Ultimate Direction has you covered. If you travel on over to ultimatedirection.com and type in code SteepStuffPod, again, that's SteepStuffPod, all one word, you are going to be able to get yourself 25% off your cart, which is awesome. Guys, have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much. Stay tuned for an episode coming out this Friday with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. David Hedges. We've got some other things coming down the line that I'm really excited for that I can't wait to announce. And yeah, have a great rest of your week.